All right. Welcome back to episode 3 of the RuneScape Ironman Progress series. Let's jump right in, but before we do, I do just want to say really quick, if you guys are interested in following along live, you can follow me on my Twitch channel, linked in the description down below. I am streaming RuneScape 4 to 5 days a week right now, so if you guys want to check in and see what's going on, always welcome to go there. Drop me a follow. That'd be hugely appreciated. Trying to grow my stream as much as I can, but again, let's jump right in and talk about what we've done this week. So if you guys remember from last week, we were mostly just grinding out 70 smithing, so that was kind of the main goal that we wanted to focus on. The beginning of this week was more of the same, so we just tried to get to 70 smithing, sitting at Giant's Foundry, and just doing a lot of like farm runs, stuff like that, farming contracts in between. In between smithing grinds, I did do a little bit more volcanic ash mining. We need to make sure that we're maintaining our ultra compost stockpiles, so I went and got around 1,000 of a volcanic ash just so I don't have to keep coming back here every week pretty much. So we should be good on volcanic ash to keep making ultra compost for a while. So we did that, refilled our compost containers, did a farm run, all that fun, super intriguing stuff, and this week is actually the week that the Delve boss came out. So the Final Dawn, Varlamore Part 3 came out this week. So I was gonna end up doing a lot of AFKing on this account. So everything from here on, you're not gonna see any stream footage. It's all gonna be off stream because I was mostly just streaming me fighting the Delve boss. I just AFK mined stars while I was fighting the Delve boss on my other account. So a lot of mining experience. I believe we got to 78 mining right now. So it's going up there. I'm mainly just using it just to get Stardust and then redeem it for gem bags, and then hopefully just have a bunch of crafting experience banked for the future. So that's going to be huge for us. I think we have like around 3,000 or 4,000 gems in total right now that we have just stockpiled. So it's going to be really good just to have all that crafting experience in the future. We did end up getting to 70 smithing. We got to 69 before I ran out of supplies, and I literally had like 200, I think, XP left to get to 70 smithing. But like I said, we did end up getting to 70 smithing, went to Varrock, used that anvil on made a bunch of iron dart tips. Then we went back to Giant's Foundry really quick just to buy the double ammo mold. That's going to come into handy a lot later down the line when we're doing Slayer, just so we can have a lot of cannonballs like I was mentioning in the last video. But from here on out is when I went on just a questing binge, a questing spree, if you will. So like I said, I was doing the Delve boss on my other account and just AFKing stars while I was live, but when I wasn't live, I was playing on this account, just trying to do a bunch of quests. So right after we got 70 smithing and bought the double ammo mode from Giant's Foundry, we moved on and then went and did Demon Slayer. And then here's some clips of me fighting the Dark Wizards and the Demon, the scariest boss in RuneScape, but we did get that completed. Nice 3 quest points and Silverlight. Obviously, Silverlight, with how many demon bosses are in the game now, getting Silverlight and then being able to upgrade it to Dark Light, Arc Light, Ember Light, all that shit, that's a big part of the count. So we got Demon Slayer done. Next we move on to Shadow of the Storm. This was a pretty quick quest, but the fight actually was a little difficult. I couldn't figure out like where I could try to safe spot him from. I don't know if you even can safe spot him. So I was a little worried I was gonna run out of food, so it got a little tiny bit sketchy there for a minute, but I did end up getting it done. I think we had like 1 or 2 food left, maybe not even. I think we had 2 left actually, yeah. We had 2 food left at the end, but we got it done. We finished the quest. Nice 1 quest point, but the main reason that we wanted this one done was actually the 10,000 range XP. It brought us straight from 1 to 27, so that's awesome. We were sitting at 1 for a while, and obviously training combats from 1 manually sucks, so getting that done with the quest is really solid. We're going to be using range to train our Slayer up a little bit here in the future, so this was a good one to knock out. And then we moved on to doing the Lost Tribe. While we were doing the Lost Tribe, we actually completed the RFD Dwarf step. So we unlocked our iron gloves, but we did this step while we were just running around doing the Lost Tribe. And here's me turning in that RFD Dwarf step. You've freed the Mountain Dwarf. We got 1 quest point, 1,000 cooking XP, and 1,000 Slayer XP, and the increased access to Culinaromancer's chest. We're up to 116 quest points now, which is really, really solid. I'm really happy with how much progress we're making on this account right now. But again, good Slayer XP. The next step after all said and done here in this video is going to be getting 40 Slayer, but I'll talk about that a bit more once we're to that point. But once we completed that, we continued with Lost Tribe, and in this quest we find out that Sigmund is a dirty little rat. But we moved on, we completed the Lost Tribe, and this was a big one as well because this one unlocks the Dorgeshan Mine access, which is where we can get our first range weapon, our first crossbow. And then we went over and bought a shit ton of bone bolts and the Dorgeshan crossbow as well. That's going to be our early range weapon for a while. It's going to be the one that we're doing Slayer with here in a bit. but we wanted to make sure that we got that, so we have a solid range weapon. And then once Lost Tribe was completed, we went on to start chipping away at Temple of Ikov. So we looted all these ice chests, and then we moved on to the fight. Now, something really interesting that I didn't even know that this is how this worked, but you need to loot these chests for ice arrows because the guy that you're fighting is like immune to anything but ice arrows. And what's interesting is I have steel knives in my inventory, and steel knives go into like your main hand slot when you're using them as a weapon, but you put the ice arrows in your ammo slot so that when you're hitting this guy and when you're fighting him, you're actually doing damage, because I think the game thinks that you're using the ice arrows, which is really interesting. I did not know that that's how that worked, but we got this fight done. It was pretty straightforward. We had a lot of food in our inventory, so I wasn't really too worried about not killing him or dying, but we did get it done. And then we were able to get Temple of Ikov completed. We also killed Lucian because I felt like it. But that was a good quest point there, and then also some more solid range experience, 10,500 range experience, and some good fletching XP. Next up, we had Big Chompy Bird Hunting. This was a great quest. I absolutely love Big Chompy Bird Hunting. Okay, I don't know if you can tell that I'm being sarcastic or not, but yeah, this quest is a little, it's annoying. It's one of those quests where towards the end of it, you kind of get like a randomized step for what Rance's children want as the seasoning on their big chompy bird. So luckily I didn't get anything too crazy. It was pretty simple to just go get the ingredients, but I killed some wolves for the wolf bones. I was doing all this. We caught the chompy, and I had to go around and try to figure out where I could find some of these ingredients, but we did get it done. And then that's another solid 2 quest points, some cooking, range, and fletching XP. Nothing too crazy there, just good to get that one out of the way. Then right after we finished Big Chompy Bird Hunting, we needed to get the Slayer requirement for Animal Magnetism. So like I said, the next kind of step for us is getting our Slayer up so we can continue questing. There's a couple quests that we need to do that have some decent Slayer requirements that we need to get up to. So I need to get to 18 in order to do Animal Magnetism. So I did my first Slayer task. I don't think I included it in the first video, but my very first task that I got was Shades. Originally, I had tried to go down to the Stronghold, but that was taking forever because those Shades are like level 100 or something like that. So I looked up on the OSRS wiki, found these ones over in Mauritania. So we decided to come over here and kill these until we got to 18 Slayer. Then once we got that 18 Slayer, we could continue with Animal Magnetism. And before I continued all the way into Port Phasmatis, I wanted to get some of these dragon bones and offer them up. I needed ecto tokens so I can do a bunch of these quests, but also for the prayer experience. So if you guys remember, we did get those 20 dragon bones in the last episode, or it might have been the one before that. We got those 20 dragon bones, so I'm going to use those. I've had buckets of slime for a while now, just sitting in the bank. So we grinded those up, worshiped them at the altar, got some solid prayer levels there, as well as obviously the ecto tokens so we can get into Port Phasmatis and continue these quests. So while we're in Port Phasmatis, we kind of put a little bit of a stop to Animal Magnetism and started doing Ghosts Ahoy. Ghosts Ahoy obviously is a big one to get completed. You're awarded with not only quest points and experience, but you also get the Ectofile, which is a unlimited teleport back to this shrine here. It gets you up to this part of the map really simply, really easily, but also it's one of the better ones for herb runs, so it's going to unlock that Mauritania patch for us. We could have used the fairy ring that's pretty close to it too, but this is just kind of an easier teleport just to have on us at all times. But yeah, we got through Ghost Ahoy, we put this bed sheet over our head, got all these signatures for this petition here, kept it moving. While we were doing Ghost Ahoy, we're also doing Creature of Frankenstein at the same time, so just knocking out steps. They're all kind of in similar areas, so we were knocking out steps for both quests. I mentioned in the first video, the guy that I'm following has a lot of macro questing, so we're doing multiple steps in multiple areas just to get stuff done as quickly as possible. But we did end up getting Ghost Ahoy completed. That's 2,400 prayer experience, solid prayer experience. We were pretty close to unlocking, I think, Protect from Missiles or Magic first. So we're getting up there. We're almost to 43, which will be Protect from Melee, and that's going to unlock basically everything for us. It's really just about combat at that point. Obviously, the higher your prayer is, the better, but just having the protection prayers is huge for being able to do anything in this game. And then with that prayer experience we got from the quest, and also doing a little bit more worshiping at the Ectofunctus altar, we ended up getting to 35 prayer. So we're 2 levels off of Protect from Magic, but we're getting up there. It's solid. So now that Ghost Ahoy is completed, we continue with Animal Magnetism, knocking out these steps. Obviously, we need to go buy our undead chickens. We got this great cutscene of Malcolm chasing around the dead chickens. It's great. You gotta just love how whimsical the game is, man. Okay, occasionally you'll just get a nice cutscene like this where it's just just really brings you back, you know? These are the nostalgic moments of this game still. You gotta appreciate it. So we knocked out all the Mauritania steps that were for animal magnetism. So next step was just to complete Creature and Franken strain. We pretty much did all the steps already. We just need to go actually back to the castle and complete the quest. Talk to Franken strain monster, do all that stuff, but we did get that quest completed. 2 quest points, 1,000 thieving XP in the Ring of Karos. So again, just one that we're kind of knocking out. The thieving XP is nice. Obviously, the quest points are much needed for RFD and all that fun stuff. So the next step was to complete animal magnetism. So on our run over there, we stopped off at Barbarian Village to do some more steps for Below Ice Mountain. I got to pay a nice 25K for this nice little training session, this little Rocky Balboa montage of me learning how to be a big, strong man in RuneScape, running a bunch of miles, doing a bunch of push-ups, all for the flex emote so that we can go flex our muscles at Shekel and prove our worth to him. But we knocked out all that. Returned to Draenor Manor, did the last few steps of the quest of animal magnetism, talked to Ava, and finally got our first Ava's device, the Ava's Attractor. So this was the one thing that we needed to knock out before we started doing Slayer. Just having this just makes it way more efficient because we're not going to be losing every single bolt that we shoot or have to pick it up after we shoot it. So big part of it, just want to make sure that we're a little bit more efficient, not wasting resources. So the next steps from here are getting to 40 Slayer, I believe, just so we can get some of the requirements for some of the quests that we need to do. Some of the ones, like the big ones that we need to knock out, is Throne of Miscellanea, Royal Trouble, just to make it so that we're getting some passive resource income. We just want to make sure that we have enough stuff so that we're not having to go out and gather things on our own, and we can just play the game and actually do combat related things, try to progress the account, stuff like that. So we don't want to worry too much about just gathering everything right now. We want to do as much as we can to have a nice little foundation of supplies just coming in passively. But that's going to be pretty much it for this one. It's a little bit lighter, just a lot of questing, but yeah, a little bit lighter on the content just because the Del boss came out this week. So we were doing that on the main and just kind of trying to squeeze in some Iron Man stuff when we could. Obviously, this next week, probably a little bit more of Delve Boss, but it's going to be a little bit more of a balanced effort. We're going to be playing the Iron Man a little bit too, so the content there should pick back up a little bit as well. But that's going to be pretty much it for this episode. Just like I said, a lot of questing, but the account is coming along nicely. We're making a lot of progress, just doing a lot of kind of AFK-able things right now, as well as like farm runs, maintaining those farming contracts, all that fun stuff. But I'm really excited with where the account's at right now. I'm really excited with where it's going. And it's all about just continuing the grind, man. But that is pretty much going to be it for this episode. Like I said in the beginning, if you guys want to follow along live, my Twitch link is down in the description below. I'm usually live anywhere from 3 to 5 days a week. We stream pretty late at night, around 9 p.m. PST. But again, if you guys want to come check it out and see the progress live, you're more than welcome. Drop a follow there. Much appreciated. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this episode, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please comment in the comment section down below. Maybe like, maybe share it with your friends. And I'll see you guys all in the next one. Peace out.